What's up, Surf Cadets? This is the SurferTherapy podcast and vlog. This is Dr. Wiggins checking in with you for this weekend. We did a water-based weekend, as we try to usually do if possible. Went from Baltimore down to Truxtun Park, which is in Annapolis, Maryland. It did some stand-up paddleboarding. I just want to show you guys real quick what the walk into the pier and the beachfront looks like as we walk into Truxtun Park. It was a great experience. Just for those of you who have never stand-up paddleboarded before, I want you guys to really kind of take a look at this because it's not as difficult as it may seem. I've seen people of all ages, all sizes, of all BMIs get out there and get it done. I actually got out there and did some fishing on my stand-up paddleboarding this weekend, so it was awesome. And I'm just walking you down to the actual beach and getting in the water here now. But I want you guys to really take a look at this, even if you have to just rent a board and give yourself a shot at seeing how it goes. It's really a lot more straightforward than surfing is. So if you have issues with kind of getting yourself over the hump of surfing for whatever reason, some people are afraid of the beach, some people are afraid of the waves, some people are afraid of the water or potential sharks. All of that stuff is kind of really not a good reason to not get out surfing. But if you can't get yourself over that hump, at least get yourself out stand-up paddleboarding to get yourself started. It'll be a really great experience for you, I guarantee you. Thanks again for joining us. This is SurferTherapy. SurferTherapy.com is the website. You can catch us on all platforms pretty much: Facebook, Instagram, Spotify. We'll be on Apple soon. Everywhere. I mean, YouTube is our major platform. It's probably the best place to catch us. If you wouldn't mind subscribing to the channel, that would be awesome. And we appreciate you so much for checking in. Again, this is at Dr. Wiggins checking in with you. I'm an anesthesiologist who loves to do surfing, surf therapy, anything water-based is really up my alley. And I want to kind of share that with all of you guys if I can, to try to boost up your wellness and get you kind of out there on the water doing everything you can to stay well, stay focused, stay wavy, and just really stay in your flow. So this weekend, we went out stand-up paddleboarding in Annapolis, Maryland at Truxtun Park, and got some fishing done while we were on the stand-up paddleboard. Caught quite a few fish. It was awesome. It was a really great experience. For those of you who have never been stand-up paddleboarding, even if you don't go fishing, it's just an awesome experience to be out there paddling. It's a really good upper body workout, and it helps kind of get you out there in the mix of all the great scenery. It puts you in a position where you have to kind of learn some survival skills, of course, but it's not so sketchy that you can't keep yourself together and get yourself back home. Again, you can kind of open yourself up to other options while you're stand-up paddleboarding. Like I was able to go fishing. You can go sightseeing. You can kind of go hiking off of the stand-up paddleboard. I mean, the options are really endless. Anything that you would consider yourself doing in terms of going on a tourist location or going to a park, you can kind of incorporate stand-up paddleboarding into that. As you'll see, I was able to catch I think I caught about 5 fish this weekend, but it didn't get all the footage, unfortunately. And for those of you who have been kind of on the channel already, I want to apologize to you for not getting you Breathing Wednesday, Pump Thursday, and Wisdom Friday. We had some issues with our hardware and our hard drives and flash drives to be specific, but we'll be able to kind of put things together for next week. And unfortunately, we weren't able to bring you a lot of the good footage that we had for you this past week. But we'll promise to correct that and get our things going for the future. This is one of the fish that I caught. Small one, so I ended up kind of fumbling that one and letting it go. But I was able to catch a few more towards the middle and the end of the session. Things are always kind of interesting as you get out on the water. I actually end up finding a paddle, which is a random paddle, which I'm not sure how long it had been out there in the elements, but it seemed to have started collecting some barnacles and shells and other things. So it was definitely a situation where it had been out there quite a while, and I just kind of grabbed it to kind of keep it from becoming a piece of another piece of litter out there in the water. So that's one addition to my my collection of things that I gained from the water this time. And every time you go out in the water, you'll either get a great experience. Sometimes you'll find a random item. Sometimes it'll be shell. Sometimes it'll be seafood if you're out there fishing or whatever. Got hung up right here and had to paddle myself out and try to get myself unhung off the bottom of the river there, or the bay, excuse me. But things happen out there, and that's really kind of what makes you stronger. Like the water itself is there's more water on the planet than there is land, and it really kind of, when you get out there on the water, you learn so much. You get pushed really hard a lot of times, of course. And if you're smart and you're thinking properly, a lot of times you'll get stronger, you'll get smarter, you'll get more wisdom from how you're able to cope with the issues that the water can bring you. If you stay within your limits, you'll never really kind of get to a point where you're in a dangerous situation, but you'll definitely be pushed to outside of your comfort zone a little bit, and really get a new take on life. You'll get a new take on how strong you actually are and how smart you actually are if you push yourself beyond your comfort zone. So as you see, I'm here kind of getting myself unhung again from out here fishing, which is quite common when you're fishing. It's not uncommon that you'll get yourself hung up on something, a rock or a log or something down there on the bottom of the water. But again, it's part of the job, and it definitely gives you that level of patience and that virtue that you really need in life in general to keep yourself going and keep yourself focused and calm when things don't always go your way. So here you see me finding that paddle kind of just off to the side, not even actually in the water, but somewhere off the side of the actual bay. Brought it in and hooked it up to my board and brought it on in. We'll get that cleaned up this weekend and see how substantial that paddle really is. Does it float? Can I clean it up to a point where I can actually use it? It was a lot heavier than my carbon fiber paddle actually, but no issue with that. I mean, everything can be used for something. It would be a great workout to use a metal paddle versus a carbon fiber paddle, so I'm not really upset about that. It's great to kind of salvage something from the water that would otherwise have just been a source of litter. So here you see me back out fishing again after finding that paddle, and was able to catch a fair amount of fish here. I think I might have hooked one up here, and we got a few. They weren't huge, they weren't necessarily fish for eating, but they were, it was a good experience hooking up and getting some bites out there on the water. Always great for those of you who have nothing else productive to do at that particular moment. Always good to kind of get yourself out there by the water. And even if you're just kind of fishing, putting the rod out there and then reading a book or doing something, it's always awesome to get out there and do some fishing. It teaches you a lot. It gives you a lot of wisdom and some good experience, which if you go back into history, you'll notice that most of our ancestors were living around the water, and we're doing a lot of fishing because fishing is key to subsistence around the planet. Not only that, it's a great pastime for those of you who can't find anything better to do with your life. So here you see me kind of showing you one of my little small fish that I ended up catching. I'll toss it back into the water. It wasn't really big enough, and it wasn't proper species to really be trying to bring home and do anything with, but it was a nice fun experience catching fish out there in Annapolis on this particular Saturday. Casting out again. For those of you who are new to the SurferTherapy podcast, this is a new experience in general, but for those of you who this is your first session, I want to thank you and give you my appreciation for checking in with us. Please follow us at SurferTherapy on Instagram. We're at SurferTherapy on Facebook. We're going to be building the website pretty soon, www.SurferTherapy.com. And you're currently tuning in with us on YouTube, most likely. and I certainly appreciate you for that. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and give us some love as we continue to build this thing. We're not just about fishing. We're mostly about anything water-based and anything wellness-based. Anything that can kind of add something to your life and give you a better experience, a better outlook on life, and give you that connection with the water that we all need to kind of make ourselves whole as human beings, and give us everything we need to continue to build our wellness outside of our homes, especially with COVID kind of building back up and ramping back up with the Delta strain and the new wave and everything. It's great to find some type of modality to get yourself out there on the water, to get yourself out there in nature, and just kind of build everything that you can do to give yourself some wellness outside of just sitting on the couch, or sitting, laying in bed, or whatever, kind of being at home drinking, or just not really doing anything super productive. Stand-up paddleboarding, surfing, working out, all these things, fishing, they're great activities to partake in that'll get you outside of your house and get you having some fun and becoming more fit, more well, and more in tune with the planet that we live on. Here I am pulling in another one. I think this was a slightly larger fish. I hope, it was everything, the fish weren't huge this weekend, but hopefully we'll find a better honey hole here pretty soon, and we'll be able to pull in some nice ones for you. Another good fish, though, another decent fight in terms of, fishing. Always good to feel that initial hit on the line, and then the fight as you reel the fish in. It's a really fun experience. So on to more fishing. Another good thing is always to kind of have a nice playlist with you. I love listening to the blues. On this particular day, I was listening to Howling Wolf, which is a great source in itself of just kind of wisdom and being able to get yourself in touch with some old school music that's not a bunch of cursing, it's not a bunch of twerking. It's a really good experience in terms of just kind of putting you into the realm of the knowledge and the old school connection to the plantations, and to Mississippi, and to those areas of the country where slavery kind of first got started, and things were really kind of sketchy for African Americans, but we're still able to figure things out and get ourselves onto a better plane in life, and pass wisdom along down through the lines and down through time, and give each other what we needed in order to kind of keep going in spite of all that hardship, which is again what we're doing here at SurferTherapy. We want to give you ways of getting through all the tough times, through the lag and the situations where you're not necessarily as focused and as motivated as you could be, and that's what we are here to do. So again, this is SurferTherapy, the way to well. Also catch us on globalstream.com, surfertherapy.com, at SurferTherapy on Facebook and Instagram. We appreciate you checking in with us, and please come on back in and check in with us again. Thanks a lot. You guys take care. Stay wavy, stay well, stay tuned.